Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 6 Teach and Corrupt. All you guys are doing is corrupting my love for Star Wars. Will, let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back with Variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, we're talking about The Acolyte. Will, your thoughts?
My thoughts are simply this: where is this show trying to take us? I am curious about how they plan to capitalize on the excitement from the big lightsaber battle last episode. Everybody was hyped for it. It was good. I enjoyed the battle. I really did. The battle was a cool battle. Nevertheless, the story was still in shambles as far as I'm concerned. I don't know where they thought they were going to go with May and Osha because they keep flip flopping as far as what they want to do, which includes this episode, flip flopping, whatever they want to do and how they want to do it. Soul is still confused and hurt or betrayed or something or whatever, but he seems like hopelessly in love with something. That's kind of how he's been acting in regards to Osha. So I don't really know what they want to do, but again, Kamir, he was solid, and even in this episode, he's still solid and he's doing what he needs to do, but everything else has still got me thrown for a loop. So you run with it. You tell me what you thought.
Yeah, because this episode is just labeled Teach and Corrupt for two very simple reasons. In this episode, Soul is trying to teach May all the errors of her ways and how to ultimately, come on back to the light side. I'm going to teach you everything that I did wrong. I'm going to lay my sins bare for you to judge, apparently off screen, and somehow 5 or 6 episodes late after he told everybody to talk about it. But nevertheless, eventually Soul is planning on getting to it at some moment in time. And Kamir is corrupting. He's literally going to teach Osha all the ways of the dark side of the Force while kind of showing her that the dark side really isn't as dark as the Jedi make it out to be. And sure, we should be giving points to Star Wars in some essence for the fact that, hey, Kamir literally stated, I want to have two, which is, the long-standing rule of two. There must be a master, there must be an apprentice. If there's any more Sith than two, things tend to get convoluted and tend to fall in upon itself because you have too many hands in the cookie jar, too many people trying to run the show, too many people trying to run point. It just does not work out. It's a long-standing rule established by Darth Bane eons and eons and eons ago, just long time ago, long before all these shenanigans took place that are currently going on within the Acolyte. And yeah, last week's fight, like you said, is exciting. It was action packed. I would probably put it as one of the top 3, maybe top 4 choreographed fights within Star Wars on, a either cinematic or TV show scale. I would put it up there as one of those great ones. There were still times where characters were fighting themselves for certain reasons, but and then the fact that we had the Umber Moss who were attracted to light be completely unbothered by the lightsabers, which are literally lights, not taking part until the light gets put on Kamir's back. I understand his plot device seems a little ticky tacky. Same time, we should have some cohesiveness within our story somewhere. Because look, I'm still on over here. Where is the plot? Where did you leave it? For the amount of budget, for the amount of development you say you're planning, how this is supposed to be progressive and it's supposed to be diverse and it's supposed to be pushing Star Wars to new heights. Where'd you leave that? Where where were all these empty promises? Where were these things supposed to be delivered? Because this is not an Amazon Express delivery, for lack of a better term. We were promised 2-day shipping. It's we're on episode 6, and we still don't have feasible plot. We don't have characters with depth. We still don't have a clear motive behind what the Jedi were doing, what the Night Sisters were doing. We won't have a clear plan behind what Kamir's doing. Like when we were going past the bodies of these Jedi's, Will, did you feel anything for any of them?
I laughed at Yord.
because like we're supposed to build layers. You're supposed to build up these characters so we have familiar attachments. You're supposed to have touching moments where they stand out or they shine and they have something that makes you as a viewer go, that's my character, that's my dude, or that's my girl. She's out here kicking butt. She's doing great things. Like we had a brief connection with Jackie because, like, yeah, she was cool. She was putting in them hands. She was doing that work. Sure, she spent more time trying to read her Miranda rights to the character who wanted to get arrested by the Jedi, but then got arrested by the Jedi, didn't like it, then literally took out her sister, even though she says, I love you, but now it's beating her up again, then replaced her, and now she's captured again because she's somehow the world's worst assassin in every category across the board. You suck at espionage, you suck at taking people out, you have no spine. Like, are we sure that these two Force dyad chicks are anything at all, and they weren't just someone that they adopted somewhere random and said they were special and unique? Like, some of the kids these days with the participation trophies and stuff. Like, what's so special about them? One is a failed Jedi and one's a failed assassin. What is supposed to be so unique and so amazing that literally our assassin got found out by a kung fu beaver? That's not a joke. That's literally what happened. Why is this happening to Star Wars, Will? I'm hurting. Just
Look,
make it make sense.
Star Wars has gone in a direction that I guess doesn't make sense for a lot of Star Wars fans. Is the gist of what I've been getting. I'm new to this, so y'all bear with me. Everything that I've seen so far has been them trying to explain gaps in between the movies, and there's a bunch of lore out there as far as some of the books and stuff are concerned. I don't know anything that's canon outside of the movies and television shows. So if there's anything else that's canon outside of those, I don't know. I don't even know everything that's canon within those because I haven't watched them in detail like a lot of the fans and stuff have. But it seems that they're trying to explain away those parts that have those gaps again, like the 100 years before this, or little gap in between here or after this movie. In doing that, I feel like you got a lot of leeway to kind of play with some things as long as the connections are there. So if you explain something that happens between episode 3 and episode 4, as long you can I feel like you can kind of do whatever you want in between there as long as the connection between 3 and 4 is maintained. So whatever happens from 3 going to 4 is still maintained. So again, we got Vader, right? Vader is still Vader, 3 going into 4. So if you utilize Vader in between there in any capacity and stuff like that, as long as his lore is still correct and then you can kind of utilize him however that makes sense for that character.
And they did. It was Rogue One. It was one of the best films out there.
And it made sense, right? So with that being said, same thing goes here. So now you're starting before all these. This is before all the movies and stuff, right?
Yes.
Before everything. So it's like you got a lot more range here to kind of play around with stuff and bring it around. But I'm getting a bunch of a character was retconned by his birthday because he showed up here and apparently he wasn't old enough to show up here, or he shouldn't have shown up here. The Force dyad, which is something I thought when the Force made Anakin, I thought that was like the special moment. Like that was Anakin's
supposed to be a unique moment. It's supposed to be one of one, never replicated, never happened before ever. But we have these two twins who are supposed to be that, and I've had farts that have better substance than they do, so I don't know what in the world they thought they were doing here with proving special and unique. But all right.
So seeing that Mace Windu and his purple lightsaber, which I thought was amazing when I first saw it on screen. Now there's already been a purple lightsaber apparently prior to history and stuff. So something that I thought was one of one with Mace Windu because of how no one's ever had it, and it's kind of like his thing. And now somebody else has had it apparently several years before, and it's a whip, which I thought was cool. The whole whip thing is cool, but I feel like you could have made it any color. It could have been blue, it could have been green, it could have been yellow, it could have been whatever, so that it still would have been effective as seeing on screen. Like, yo, that's freaking cool. I didn't think it needed to be purple, but that's just me nitpicking at this point because I like Mace Windu. He's one of the few characters that I do like. And I like Mace and I like Anakin. Like those are the two characters that I really like. Mando's cool. He's growing on me, but I'm still trying to figure him out. But yeah, it seems like they're just taking a bunch of stuff from the previous from the established canon that's already in there, and it's just kind of putting some stuff in here so that we can see. And it's not really explaining anything else. I mean, it's still the same old Jedi does what Jedi wants, and they're trying to control everything. And when it doesn't go their way, then they got to fix it to make it go their way, and it causes a bunch of problems.
The
Like,
Jedi, ever since Disney have taken over, have become more cops than actual dignitaries or someone you could look at and look up to or respect. But at the same time, that's just what the writing is. That's just the way they're playing things out. You're starting to realize why more people tend to be like, you know what, I kind of get the Sith. I kind of get what they're up to. I kind of get their plan. If you're being restricted by all these people who are doing all these egregious crimes continuously and not suffering any consequences for it, at a certain point, you'd be like, fair is fair in the terms of the Jedi. But, you
but
know,
that's
we're
what
here. It's been like 11 minutes.
that's what Kamir wanted, though. Kamir wanted to be able to use his powers however he wanted to. So now he's taken Osha and he's really trying to corrupt her and bring her to his side because again, May did not have the ability or skill, the freaking charisma, whatever was needed to be that. So he's really trying to bring her over and then utilize her possibly to be his second, which is an interesting concept in itself. You know, if the characters made sense, like if the characters were really hitting as far as, you know, emotional or connection or whatever, like, okay, I feel this character, she's going through it. Like, I have no resonance with her. So her flipping sides doesn't really make sense to me because she's been wishy washy the entire time. And then you've got Soul, which Soul's got some stuff going on. We still don't know exactly what the deal is with Soul, but he just seems like he's up to something. And he took off before the rest of the Jedi's can get there. So, like Vernestra, and she was like, yo, we got to find out what's going on. And I'm on the way. Like, he took off right, like, literally seconds before they got there and was like, yo, I'm going to go handle stuff in the Outer Rim. I got to go. Bam. And then they showed up, find all the bodies, have her whole force connection, and realize, yo, something happened. There's a bunch of erratic fighting and behavior, and what is it? Like, what's the deal? And she starts trying to figure it out. And I think she has figured out that, you know, it's Kamir because she has probably dealt with him sometime in the past before. We see a nice little scar on his back, and that scar looks like a whip strike. And we see her pull out the purple whip to kill a bug. Like, she whipped that thing out real quick. I don't know if that thing stays a whip or it becomes a whip on command. If she actually uses it as a saber at any point in time, I don't know. But she pulled it out. She smacked the thing, and it's like, that makes sense. So we think teach and corrupt. She probably tried to teach him, and she didn't like what she saw, or he wasn't doing, I guess, whatever it was well enough. And her way of teaching him could have been whipping him, or, you know, her way of teaching him could have caused him to stress too much and attack her, and she decided to get rid of him. Either way, he's got a scar on his back where he looked like he was stabbed in the back or whipped in the back. So that's telling a story that he may have history with Vernestra, and now that she's on the way, he may be able to get some closure with whatever that situation is, and then move on from there. So I kind of feel like it's now going to be Kamir and Osha kind of having to deal with Vernestra and Soul at some point, and then May's just kind of in the middle. And again, she's so flighty. I don't know which way it'll go, but they got 2 episodes left, right, to explain this.
They've
Or
got
how
2 episodes to figure it out. They have too many loose pieces for my personal liking, but we'll see how they wrap things up because we said we'd cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This falls in one of those categories. Hit that subscribe button, make it worth our while. Logo, bottom right corner logo, or in the red description box below. I'm all aboard Will's theory. I think Vernestra is part of the problem, and Soul is hiding way too much. We'll see you tomorrow night for The Boys live stream. See you then.